Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hello, and welcome to What's on Tap podcast. We're back. You've been waiting, and we listened to the call.
At least 7 days.
Yeah. That's a long time, man.
It can be.
Yeah.
Especially if your lifespan is only like 2 days. Like certain insects.
If you're a dragonfly?
Yes. Or most insects, actually, I think. Really short shelf life.
Ooh, yeah. Stefan is pre-smelling the beers.
I am. I'm super excited about these.
That's like cheating.
No. Just amping up the excitement for two beers that I'm really looking forward to from two breweries I really enjoy.
So one of them we bought together and the other one I brought.
Yes.
Let's start with the one I brought. It's from Tilquin, the lambic brewer we know and love. It's a small bottle of Oude Arielle Sauvage Tilquin. And that means that it's a lingonberry lambic.
Yes.
It's the 21/22 vintage. Mm-hmm. It's the only version of this one that made it to bottles. Because Tilquin has their like draft only once in a year weird extravaganza thing that at one point made it to Bishop's Arms in Malmo.
Oh, yes, I remember. And they were like, we did that. It was like 12...
Yes.
We were like one of two places in all of Sweden that had all of the beers on tap.
Exactly. So those are like experiments, and then some of those make it into real releases. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the releases that I think made it out of the experiment phase.
Cool.
So this is the first real official bottle vintage of this one.
It smells very jammy, a little tart in the nose.
It's very jammy.
Yeah, I know. I'm really looking forward to this. Now you've had the Drinkable.
What's it called? Rode Bosbessen?
Yeah, something like that.
And then it's Blaue Bosbessen.
Yeah.
But those are blueberries and lingonberries.
Right.
This is just lingonberry.
No, one was blueberry, one was lingonberry. Two separate releases.
Yeah.
So did you like the lingonberry?
It's been such a long time since I tried it.
It has been like 3 or 4 years.
I remember that I loved it. Mm-hmm. But I love everything Drifontainen does, so I might have been biased.
You might be a little biased there. Yeah, that's true.
Who knows?
Okay, well,
let's try it.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. There's a lot of tartness.
There is tartness. I wouldn't say it's a lot, though. I don't think it's like puckeringly tart.
No.
I think it's lightly tart. Like you definitely get the lingon tartness in there.
Yeah, but you nailed it. It's jam.
It is jam. Super jammy. I thought this was going to be like a real jaw clincher tartness to it, but this is really isn't good. No, it's a really solid beer. That's good.
I can see on your glass that you've taken big gulps.
I usually do whenever I sample the beers, just to kind of get the whole palate filled. But
I've seen you take small sips of bad beers.
Yes, that's true.
It is a 6.5% ABV lambic beer.
The aftertaste, you definitely get the lingonsaft kind of flavor to it.
Lemonade.
Yeah, it's I would call it the Swedish Kool-Aid.
Swedish Kool-Aid. Yeah, because Swedish saft and American lemonade are quite different things.
Well, I mean, saft is like any kind of fruit juice concentrate that you mix with water.
Yeah.
Whereas lemonade is a specific thing.
Yes.
Which is lemon water sugar.
You can't have different flavors of lemonade?
You can add... No, not really. It's in the name.
Right.
So you have limeade, or you can
right. You would call it that.
Right. But you also wouldn't do, like in Sweden, where you have like a cassis.
Right. Or apple.
Right. You would have apple juice concentrate, or you'd have black currant concentrate or red currant concentrate. So that we would be more specific on that. Whereas soft is a general overall term of all of these things that
it's
are concentrated you add water to. So in that way, it is kind of like, and it's mostly for kids, or if you're going to mix a drink, like a vodka drink, and you want some sort of flavoring into it, also works pretty well.
But you would only use the concentrate. You wouldn't make it into soft. You wouldn't mix it with water and then combine it with alcohol.
True. But Kool-Aid is a flavor packet that you mix sugar into, and then you add water. So it's kind of closer to that than it is to, let's say, lemonade.
I've learned something. But I like this. This is a good lambic that goes into the jamminess more than the mouth puckering, like acidity. There's very little there's still some acid to it, but it's not overwhelming, which just could very easily have been just because lingon is really strong. And it's got a really intense tart flavor to it. This could have been super, super unbalancedly tart. But man, this is just really, really good. Yeah. So what would you give this?
This is a strong 4.25 climbing up to a 4.5.
That's exactly where I was going. I wanted you to go first because if you were going 4.5, I would probably have rounded up. I'm in the same place. It's a 4.25, but I really want to give it a 4.5.
Yeah, this is another one of those times when we're if we graded by tenths, it would be a 4.4 or a 4.3.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yes.
Because it is better than a 4.25, but it's not quite 4.5 territory for me.
But if you're mentioning 4.4, then it's a weak 4.5 for me, this one.
Yeah,
it is.
I agree. It's really, really good.
It's better than expected.
100% better than I like Tilquin quite a bit. They're never one of my favorites, but I think they really have done an outstanding job on this beer in particular.
Yeah, because when we say that we love Tilquin, we're mostly referring to their core offerings, including their core Muir. That's plums, right? That's really good, but it's so solid and standard for them. These ones that kind of stick out, it's rose petals or lingonberries, they can be hit or miss. And this one was a hit for me.
Well, when they did a box of 6 beers, and they were all, or maybe it was 12 beers, and they were all low ABV, 6.5 or 5.5, something like that.
Mertz,
right? And that was a lot of fun. And there was a lot of really quite good beers in that. A couple that were okay, but for everything, I think was a 3.75 or above. I mean, that's pretty solid for a box of 12 beers.
Oh, definitely.
And I think this is falls into that line. And this was, what was the ABV on this?
6.5.
6.5, yeah.
A bit stronger.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, and then the next beer.
You want me to pronounce it?
Sure.
So, basically every year, the Italian brewery Baladin puts out a barley wine.
Right. So Baladin does a lot of different beers, but really they only do one beer that's really good, which is their barley wines. Their barley wines are outstanding. Everything else they do is it's okay.
And they have several lines. There's Terre, which is earth, and Lune, which is the moon. And those are barley wines that sure. Yeah. But their core line is Xyauyu.
Xyauyu,
probably,
or something like that.
But X isn't a letter that we use that much in any of the European languages. Spanish only.
Yeah.
Arancha, and there's an X in that. Okay, sure. So this is Xyauyu 2018 Reserva Teo Muso. And in previous years, there was gold edition, bronze edition, silver edition. It doesn't say on this, but everything's gold on it.
Okay.
So probably, if there are different 2018 versions, this is probably going to be a gold edition.
Well, they do a really good job. This again comes in a tin, a canister. and they do a wax tip. So it's really made to age. So if you were to put this in your closet and store it for 5 or 6 more years, it's going to hold up really well.
Exactly, and it has a cork and then wax on top of the cork. It comes in at 14% ABV, and it looks like it's very red, dark amber color. Yeah. It smells like barley wine.
It smells like barley wine. A little on the boozy side too.
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's try it. Cheers.
Oh god, it's so good.
And these ones are always near zero carbonation.
Yeah, it's just like syrupy with a lot of what do you call it? Dried fruits, like a lot of prunes and raisins, and then it tastes like if you're ever going to like do a Glugvin.
Sure.
It's got some of those characteristics in there. Like there's some spices.
There's a little bit of spiciness, but none of the Christmas.
A lot
spices.
of the dried fruits, yeah.
And the bottle says that you can age this for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We tried Xyauyu versions that are near 10 years, and they kind of drop off. They become quite dusty.
Yeah, I would say 5 years is about as good as you can get on this.
That's a good estimate.
Yeah.
And this is from 2000. This is 2018 version, so that would put it into 5 years.
Yeah.
But it was released like this year or last year. It's not long since this was.
Yeah, I think it was released this year. But it doesn't say. It says. Does it say regular agent? This is the Reserva Tio Muso.
But then I think they're all. I think all of the Xyauyu are Reserva Tio Muso because.
Oh, I thought there were different ones.
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
Let's see. So for the 2018, there are only 2 versions, and I think they are the same.
Okay.
There's Reserva 2018 and Etiquetta Oro / Golden Label Reserva 2018. So which one are we having, really?
Probably the same one.
When you look at the photos, it's the same beer for both of
it's
them.
just one beer.
But really, the one Oro is gold in Italian.
Yeah.
Oro / Golden, that's the one we're having.
Man, this is so good, though.
It is really good. But I might land on a 4.5.
I'm going to land on a 4.5 as well.
Previous vintages, some of them I've given 5s.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say that I land on the very low rating of 4.5. But you kind of get what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's a 4.5 for me. It's the thing that's killing it a little bit for me. It's just a little too sweet. It's a little too much burnt sugar kind of notes to it. So after you have a few sips of it, well, the first sip is really good. The more you drink it, the more cloyingly sweet it becomes, almost like you're drinking syrup. And that's where it kind of drops a little bit for me.
I remember it having more body.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's quite light in the mouthfeel. The flavors are there, but if I'm actually saying I'm contradicting you because I want it to be more like syrup, more viscous.
I think it's viscous enough, and I think between the viscosity of what it is now, combined with the syrupy sweetness of it, for me, it's right on the. It's right where the pleasure point is.
But it's a strong 4.5. It's a great beer.
It is really, really great.
And it costs something like 200 Swedish.
It's definitely not cheap. It's definitely in kind of more what you call an investment beer. Because you can store it and it would age out pretty well. And it does age out beautifully. But you just can't store it indefinitely.
Right. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, these are two great beers, man.
Yeah. I'm happy about this episode.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm happy we shared the cost of this.
It's just too much for one person. I'm glad that we shared it on the podcast because I feel like it needs to be a shared beer. It's really something that you could split amongst, I would say, 4 or 5 people and drink it kind of like a slow sipper cognac kind of beer. Definitely. And everyone would feel like they're having quite a magnificent experience.
But it on the front, it says number 1764. Mm-hmm. That might be bottle count, but then it doesn't say what the maximum bottle count is, which makes it
kind of on the back.
No, that was the
lot number 127 of 180. So
that's lot number. That's the number of brews.
So I guess we need to buy like 4 or 5 more bottles just to kind of understand where we are in the placement.
To triangulate the bottle count.
Exactly.
Wow. I think you need more than 3.
I said 4 or 5.
Yeah. Fair enough. But it's so weird. So, in some cases, when a beer comes in a carton or a tube, it is to make it seem more fancy and highbrow.
100%. And then it's completely unnecessary.
There are so many cases of Innocent Gun having cardboard boxes around their garbage beers. But in this case, it's correct. It's accurate to have this in a big tube container, which would protect it from sunlight if it were ever in an environment where that would be the case.
Well, the bottle is also just jet black. There's no light getting into this bottle to begin with. Well, like I guess we hold it up to the light. It looks a little more transparent.
It's classic green, dark green. But the tube would protect it a little bit more.
It would protect it a lot more. But didn't this used to come in a wooden case?
There are versions of this that come in wooden case, like the Kentucky barrel-aged versions and stuff like that. And the smoky versions.
Yeah.
That depends on the year.
Well, if you're ever in Italy and you get a chance to go to one of the Baladin bars, I know they're in Rome, they're in Bologna, I think they're in Florence, there's several of them around the country. It is worth it because they have all of these either on tap or to sample.
That's cool.
So you can always try like maybe 10 different Baladin barley wine